Namaste, everybody. Welcome to the Chandi live Satsang. We meet every every Thursday. I don't know what day of the week it is. We meet every Thursday, 2:30 p.m. California time, 4:30 p.m. Mexico Central Time. I'm very excited you're here. Today we're going to continue our discussion about Chapter 2 of the Chandi which is the rise of Mahishasura. We discussed last week in our Part 1 class that Mahishasura resides in all of us. He is the ego. He is the limiting ego that keeps us separate from oneness with the Divine Mother, or pure consciousness. So this week we're going to continue to chant the rest of Chapter 2 and discuss what that means for our spiritual practice. So let us begin right away by chanting the Sanskrit. You can open up your Chandipat book, your app, or you can download the free chanting manual from www.srimad.org. Last week we left off on verse 37. Let's begin there. Let's chant Om together to begin. Take a deep breath. Beginning on verse 37, chapter 2 of the Chandipat. Abhyadavatatam shabdam ashesha asuravrita sadadarsha tato devim vyaptaloka trayam dvisha padakrandya natabuvam karitolikitambaram kshobita sheshapatalam denojani swanenatam disho bhuja sahasrena samandhavyapya samstitam तथा प्रभावृते युधम तया दिव्या सुरार्विषम शस्त्रास्त्र बाहुदा मुक्ता आदिपिता दिगंधरम महिषसुरसेनानीश चीक्षुराख्यो महासुरः युयुधे च महाराश्चन्याश चतुरंगा बलान्विता प्रधानमायुते शब्दीर उदाग्रक्यो महासुरः अयुज्यता युतानं च सहस्रेण महाहनु हंसाशद्भिष्टनियुताय असिलमा महासुरः अयुतनं शते शद्भिः बाष्कलो युयुधे रणे गजावजी सहस्रोगार अनेके परिवारितः वितोरतानं घोत्य च युधे तस्मिन् न युध्यता विरालक्यो युतानं च हंसाशद्भिः रथायुते युयुधे संयुगे तत्र रत्नं परिवारिता अन्ये च तत्र युतशो रथानगा हयावृतः युयुधे संयुगे देव्या सह तत्र महासुरा कोटि सहस्रेस्तु रथानं दन्तिनं ददा हयानं च वृतो युधे तत्राबुन्महिषासुरा कुमारबिन्दिपालैश्च शक्तिव्यमुसलैस्तथा युयुधे संयुगे देव्या खड्गे पराशुपातिशे केचित् शिक्षिपु शक्ति केचित् पशंस्तथा परे देवीं खगाप्रहारेस्तु तेतां हन्तुं प्रचक्रमो सपि देवी तथास्तानि शस्त्राण्यस्त्राणि चण्डिका लीलायैव प्रचिच्छेदा Nijashastra Vaishini, Anayasta Nana Devi, Stuyamana Surarishibi, Mumocha Sura Deheshu, Shastranya Cheshwari, Sobikudo Duta Sato, Devyavahana Kesari, Chachara Sura Senyeshu, Vaneshvi Bahutashana, Nishwasan Mumucheyamscha, Yudyamana Raniambika, Tateva Sadya Sambuta, Ganashata Sahasrasha, Yuyuruste Parashubhi, Vindipalasi Patishe, Nashayanto Saraganan, Devi Shakyupa Brimhita, Avadayanta Patahan, Ganashankam Statapare, Madangamscha Tatevanye, Tasmin Yuda Mahotsave, Tato Devi Trishulena, Gadaya Shakti Vrishtibi, Kagare Bishta Shatasho, Nijagana Mahasuran, Patayama Sachaivanyan, Kandaswana Vimohitan, Asurambo Vipashina, Madwachanyan Akashayat, Kechidwida, Kritas Tikshne, Kagapates Tatapare, Vibhotita Nipatina, Kadaya Bhuvisherate, Vimushta Kechid Rudiram, Musalena Brishamhata, Kechin Nipatita Bumo, Vinashulena Vakshasi, Nirandara Sharogina, Krita Kechid Pranajire, Shinanukarina Pranam, Momochu Strida Darshana, Kesham Chidbahavashchinash, Chinagrivastata Shiram Sipe Turanyesha, Manema Devi Dharita, Vichinagjangastva Pare, Petur Uvyam, Mahasuraha, Ekhabhavak Shicharana, Kechid Devyadvidakrita, Chinepi Chanyeshirasi, Patita Puna Utitaha, Kabandayu Yududevya, Grahita Paramayuda, Nanrituscha Paretatra, Yudetuya Loya Shritaha, Kabandaschina Shirasa, Kagasha Drishti Panaya, Tishtati Shteti Bashando, Devi Manye Mahasuraha, Patite Rata Nagashwa, Asurishcha Vasundara, Agamya Sabhavatatra, Yatrabhutsa Maharana, Shoni Toga Mahanadya, Sadyastatra Prasusravu, Madhyecha Sura Sanyasya, Varanasura Vajinam, Kshanena Tan Mahasanyam, Asuranam Tatambika, Ninyekshayam Yatavanis, Srinadaru Mahachayam, Sachasingho Mahanadam, Utsvijanduta Kesara, Sharirebhyo Mararinam, Asuniva Vichinvati, Nivyaganeshtate Statra, Kritam Yudam Mahasure, Yatesham Tuttu Sudeva, Pushpavashti Mucho Divi, Om. Namaste, everybody. I just want to say a few words about the second half of chapter 2, and that's that regardless of our faith or our concept of what a demon is or if it exists for real, whenever we are putting the second half of chapter 2 of the Chandi Path into context of modern life in our meditation practice, in our chanting practice, all the demons represent our negative thoughts, our memories, our vasanas, or our limiting habits that keep us separate from joyful consciousness at all the time. And that joyful, pure consciousness is personified as the Divine Mother. So throughout the second half of chapter 2, beginning on verse 37, we see a whole bunch of different demons. And as you read through Swami Satyananda's translation of the Chandipat, you'll see that the translation of each demon's name translates to some sort of limiting factor, concept, emotion, or vasana. So let's read through the names of the demons in English that the Divine Mother cuts down or slays. In verse 40, she slays devoid of clear understanding. In verse 41, she slays the demon named fickleness and haughtiness. In verse 42, she slays the demon called the Great Deceiver. In verse 43, she kills 6 million soldiers and memories. 6 million soldiers represent all the thoughts that come up when we're trying to meditate. Also in verse 43, she slays wandering to and fro. It's quite common that people that are beginning the spiritual path are very excited. And like a butterfly, they go from flower to flower. They go from teacher to teacher or tradition to tradition. And it's best to stick to one or two techniques until you get to enlightenment or liberation of consciousness. But the demon wandering to and fro represents the boredom that sometimes naturally arises from doing the spiritual practice over and over again, such as chanting the Chandi Pat. If you dig too many holes, you'll never get to water. So it's best to stick with one or two spiritual practices that are manageable to do within the time frame of your daily life and stick to those. And certainly once you meet a spiritual master that is truly enlightened, you'll want to stick with him or her until the end and not constantly go from teacher to teacher. We never really get anywhere doing that. Verse 44, we have the demon hypocrisy. That demon was slayed by the Divine Mother. And then in verse 47, the great ego, Mahishasura himself, comes out. Whenever all of his supporting soldiers that keep the ego strong are slayed one by one, you may notice that even as you're making great strides of transcending your personal ego and moving towards a more universal consciousness, you'll see that sometimes we backslide, which is only natural. So as Devi is killing all these individual demons, these negative vasanas that we've mentioned, it's quite normal for the ego to sprout up. Remember from our last class that we discussed the fact that the ego is a living entity. Our pseudo-soul, the ego, is a living entity and it does not want to die. Whenever it sees all of its qualities or the habits that feed it and keep it alive dying because we're transcending them, because we're moderating them, because we're eliminating them, then the great ego may come up at a certain point, even for very advanced souls, and rear his ugly head and create all kinds of troubles. But don't worry, whenever you call on the Divine Mother, when you're chanting the Chandi Pat or chanting the glories of any deity, that aspect of God will come to slay the ego for sure, if you're sincere and if you're regular in your practice. So in verse 47, the great ego himself joined the battle. And it describes that the ego is making a lot of effort to stay alive, to fight the pure consciousness. And it depicts in verse 50 that the goddess is just playfully fighting. It's nothing for her. She shows up and she just slays them one by one without any effort. She's clearly in control at all points. In verses 51 through 52, it says, in her face was not the slightest exertion as the Empress of the universe hurled weapon after weapon upon the bodies of the attackers, the various demons we've described. And then it really describes, once we get into verses 57 and onward through 66, this is an area of the Chandi Pat where a lot of sensitive people, peaceful, spiritual people get agitated, because it talks in a very explicit way about how each of the demons was killed. And it may seem very violent, but never forget that these demons, what they really represent, those qualities are violence against yourself. And more importantly, those qualities create violence against others. If we're haughty, if we're arrogant and aggressive, and we're constantly putting that energy into the ones that are surrounding us, in our families, and our friends, and our workmates, then we're causing them discomfort. So a lot of these demons in the Chandi pot represent different qualities that are not so savory in us. And they create violence against ourselves because they cause suffering within us. And they also create violence or discomfort to others. So it's very good for us to know that we're asking Devi to kill these qualities, these negative qualities within us that hold us back and that harm others. So we're not creating violence against another living being. These demons are very symbolic. They are our own negative qualities that we want to destroy. And we invoke God's grace in the form of the Divine Mother, in the form of Chandi, to slay all these. 67. Within an instant, that gigantic army of thoughts perished before the Mother of the Universe, just as grass and timber are reduced to ashes in a moment by a great fire. A lot of us that have been on the spiritual path are hesitant to believe this verse. Verse 67, that the Divine Mother can slay all these thoughts and negativities in just a moment. And this is because we haven't truly surrendered to the Divine Mother. If we surrendered to the Divine Mother's grace, and if we truly wanted to get over any habit, we can get over it in a day. Paramahansa Yogananda, a great master from the earlier half of the 1900s, he stated very unequivocally that if we wanted to get over any habit of mind, body, or emotion, we could do it now if we want to. But do we really want to? A lot of these negativities we have secondary gain from. So we have to cooperate with grace. We have to be sincere about wanting to give up our vasanas and our negative habits and our patterns that somehow bring us secondary gain, but ultimately just disappoint us. And some of us seekers are truly trying to get over some limitation, some vasana, some negative pattern of mind or emotions. And even though we may be sincerely trying to get over this thing for many, many years even, that same idea might crop up. So again, this brings up the doubt. Can Devi really just slay it right now? Again, it's if we really want to. There's a famous story of my spiritual master, and she throws a Hershey's kiss at her devotee's face over and over again to wake him up. And it was hitting him on his third eye repetitively. And whenever he realized what was happening, because he was somewhat in meditation when she was flinging these Hershey's kisses at his third eye, he asked her, "Oh, I wasn't paying attention. Have I missed this great opportunity for enlightenment?" And she said, "Opportunities for enlightenment arise all the time." And he said, "Yes, but I can't become enlightened right now." And her response was, "That's true because you said so." Meaning that the moment for enlightenment, the moment for releasing any vasana or the ultimate goal of moksha can happen right now for any one of us. But if it's only if we're really open to that moment. I would like to close with what Shrima says about the Bhagavad Gita and the Chandipat. This can be found in Swami Satyananda's book, Life of a Saint. And it says here that in Shrima's earlier days, she would spend her days wandering through the jungles, wandering through nature by herself, and she would alternate between chanting the Chandi Pat and the Bhagavad Gita. And here in this section of the book, it's Shrima saying what she believes the benefit of chanting the Bhagavad Gita and the Chandi Pat is. On some days, she would alternate between the Chandi and the Bhagavad Gita. Gita, she said, is the definition of the goal. It says again and again, whatever you do, do for God. Surrender your attachment. Give up your selfishness. The Chandi Pat shows us how to do that. The Chandi says, sit down in one asana, in one posture, and recite. Don't move your knees until it is complete. Watch the Divine Mother cut down your attachments. Away with your anger, away goes desire. One by one, she takes them away. The Chandi Pat is the path to the realization of the Bhagavad Gita. And I leave you with those blessed words. Namaste, everybody. I'll see you next Thursday, and we'll begin discussing the first part of Chapter 3 of the Chandi Pat and how we can apply it to our everyday sadhana. Namaste.